I'm going to do the sweet potato chips. I do quite a number of them in one go, and then pop them in a bag, use as much as I want for the meal, and then pop the rest in the freezer. They keep really well, and it just means that I only have to do it sort of, you know, every so often rather than at each time. So in the sweet potato chips, basically, obviously sweet potato, peel those, put those into sort of chip-like or wedges, whichever you prefer. From there, I'll put turmeric over the top of it. Just helps bring out the flavour. Salt and pepper, or I'll put turmeric and the Vegeta, just a teaspoon of that over the sweet potato chips to give it a bit of a different sort of flavour. But don't use this with salt because it'll become way too salty. Today though, I'm just going to use salt and pepper, but I thought I would just show you another option. You can also obviously use other herbs if you wanted to have a herb crusted type sweet potato chip. I'll also use avocado oil. Just feel that it's nice flavour. It's a nice flavour, but you can obviously use whichever oil you prefer, whether that be olive oil or coconut oil. It's totally up to you. But my preference for these chips is avocado oil. So I'm just going to do a time lapse of me popping this all together, because I don't think you really want to watch me standing here peeling the sweet potatoes, but let's get started. Okay, so I've cleaned up after cutting up all of the sweet potato, which you just saw on the time lapse. As you'll see that they are all in relatively the same sort of thickness in each of the chip. I used to parboil the chips first and then pop them into the ice water and all of that, cool them off, coat them, and then pop them in the freezer or use them. But I didn't see a great deal of difference to going to all that effort and then just basically roasting them in the oven from cutting them up. There's no point going into any additional steps when it's not really required from my perspective. So from here I will add the equivalent to a couple of teaspoons of turmeric. Just sprinkle that in, and then I'll add a good couple of rounds of freshly ground pepper, and then add again a good few rounds of salt. In this case it is pink sea salt. You want to make sure that, you know, they're well seasoned because it tastes good. So from here I'll actually add avocado oil. I want a fair covering. I don't add any more oil to the chips once I pop them on the pan for cooking. So I do want to make sure that there's a good amount, and they also will hold in the freezer well when they're covered in oil. They don't dry out. So from here, the reason why it's in a Ziploc bag is because take the air out, zip it up, and give it a good mix. You want to make sure that it's well sealed, otherwise you'll end up oil chips everywhere. And then from here, you just give it a good mix. You want to make sure that your pepper and salt, or any herbs that you do use, are well mixed. Otherwise you'll end up obviously getting a chip with a lot, and that's pretty gross. there you have it. A nice, well-coated sweet potato chip. You could obviously do this with other vegetables as well if you wanted, but today it's sweet potato chip day. So I'm going to use whatever I feel necessary to use in the next meal, and then pop the rest in the freezer for another day.